Another situation in which scarcity might backfire is when it's about a product with which consumers try to express their individuality. So for example, if you go to a nearby clothing store and you know all your friends and many people in this area buy their clothes in this shop as well, you might get a bit suspicious if the t-shirt you would like to buy is almost sold out. Because if everybody in your surrounding wears the same t-shirt like you, well, it might be a threat to your individuality. And that in this situation, scarcity can be problematic, was shown by Erika van Herpen and colleagues in their study, When Demand Accelerates Demand, Trailing the Bandwagon. The study was published in 2009 in the Journal of Consumer Psychology. And in their third experiment with 200 participants, they really could show that participants had no problem with a almost sold out t-shirt in a store on the other side of the city. But if they were told, well, it's a nearby store and all the other students buy their clothes there as well, then they were not that happy with the t-shirt. So the conclusion for shop owners from that study could be, if it's a product that's important to express the individuality, you should always have enough in stock. And that could be shown in that study as well. Or you explain the scarcity by telling the customers it's not because of a very high demand and everybody is going to wear the same t-shirts in the next time, but it's just because of a mistake in ordering. It's just because of low supply. Another way to use our tendency to show reactance when our freedom is threatened, obviously, is to tell us that something is prohibited. And it's said that even Tsar Catherine the Great already knew this strategy when she searched for a strategy to make potatoes more popular in her country. Because at her time, the potatoes were second-class vegetables, and to change this, she commanded to build fences around the potato fields, and all of a sudden the potatoes became much more interesting for the population. And a similar effect occurs in respect to age restrictions for books or movies, and this could also be shown in the study by Zellinger and colleagues, published in the Journal of Applied Psychology. The title, A Commodity Theory Analysis of the Effects of Age Restrictions upon Pornographic Materials. In this study, 64 male students were presented one and the same book cover texts with only one little difference. In one group, there was an age restriction, which said, a book for adults only, restricted to those 21 years and over. And what do you think? What was the result when they were asked, how much do you feel you would like the book? Of course, the participants with the age restriction were much more interested in this book. So restrictions and prohibitions sometimes lead to the opposite they are created for. And of course, marketing experts try to use this effect. For example, authors of conspiracy theory books sometimes even try to have their book forbidden. So they can write on their cover, they don't want you to know the truth. And for some people high in reactance, it's also a personality trait, whether you are low or high in reactance. And for some people that can be very, let's say, challenging. And in Germany, we once had a case of a radio broadcaster called Jump FM, which willingly launched a campaign against their own radio station. They created posters that looked like they were created by rivaling radio stations, and there was written, should it be allowed that a radio station is called Jump FM? stop Radio Jump FM now. Or does Radio Jump FM have a broadcasting license at all? And with this marketing strategy, they created a lot of attention and reached an increase in listeners of 140%. Of course, as it's a real life example and we don't have a control condition, we don't know whether all this effect is due to the campaign. But supposedly, as it's well known that this strategy can work, some of the effects certainly are. So that's it for today. Always keep in mind if somebody tells you, well, we only have a few items left, or sorry, this offer is only until the end of the month. And what happens at the end of the month? Of course, they renew the offer, maybe even for a lower price, and the next month maybe exactly the same game. So keep in mind, more often than not, these are marketing strategies. But I think the good news is if we know the strategies, we can regain some self-control, and on second thought, we can make a rational decision.